Have you ever heard a story so strange, so unsettling, that it sticks with you forever? Today, we're diving into one of the greatest maritime mysteries of all time, the story of the Mary Celeste. Picture this: a perfectly seaworthy ship discovered adrift in the vast Atlantic Ocean. Its sails partially set, its cargo untouched, but its entire crew vanished without a trace. Our story begins on a crisp autumn day, November 7th, 1872. The Mary Celeste, a sturdy, two-masted brigantine, set sail from New York harbor, bound for Genoa, Italy. On board was a seasoned and respected captain, Benjamin Briggs, his wife, Sarah, their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia, and a hand-picked crew of 7 capable seamen. Their cargo was valuable: 1,701 barrels of raw American alcohol, destined for fortifying Italian wines. The journey started smoothly, and Captain Briggs was known for his competence and calm demeanor. There was no reason to suspect this voyage would be anything but ordinary. Almost a month later, on December 4th, another ship, the Dei Grottier, was sailing the same choppy waters of the Atlantic, about 400 miles east of the Azores Islands. Its captain, David Morehouse, knew Captain Briggs personally. As they drew closer, Morehouse noticed something was terribly wrong. The Mary Celeste was yawing strangely, its sails in disarray, and there was an eerie silence hanging over the vessel. No one answered their signals. A boarding party was sent to investigate, and what they found has puzzled historians and storytellers for over 150 years. Stepping onto the deck of the Mary Celeste was like entering a time capsule. The ship was deserted. There were no signs of a struggle, no evidence of violence or piracy. The cargo of alcohol was almost entirely intact, ruling out a mutiny to steal it. The crew's personal belongings were still in their quarters, their sea chests and clothes undisturbed. Valuables, including money and jewelry, were left behind. Down in the galley, the investigators found an even more chilling scene. The table was set for a meal that was never finished. Provisions were plentiful, with enough food and fresh water to last for months. The ship itself was in surprisingly good condition. While there was some water in the hold, it wasn't a dangerous amount for a ship of its size. The ship's logbook was found in the mate's cabin. Its last entry, dated November 25th, 9 days before the ship was found, recorded the ship's position near the Azores. The entry was routine, giving no hint of any trouble or distress. It simply stopped. The only things missing were the ship's chronometer, its sextant, the ship's register, and, most importantly, the single lifeboat. It appeared that the crew had abandoned their perfectly sound ship in a hurry, taking only essential navigational equipment and the small, fragile lifeboat to face the unpredictable open ocean. But why? This is the question that has fueled a century and a half of speculation. What could have terrified a competent captain and his experienced crew so much that they would choose a tiny lifeboat over their large, sturdy vessel? Let's explore some of the most popular theories. The first, and perhaps most dramatic, involves piracy. Could pirates have boarded the ship, taken the crew, and left? This seems unlikely. The valuable cargo and personal effects of the crew were left untouched. Pirates of that era were not known for leaving such valuable loot behind. There were also no signs of a fight, which would almost certainly have occurred during a hostile takeover. Another theory points to a mutiny. Perhaps the crew, fueled by the alcohol in the cargo hold, rose up against Captain Briggs. But again, the evidence doesn't fit. The crew was hand-picked and had a good reputation. Captain Briggs was known as a fair and just commander. And if they had mutinied, why would they abandon the ship they had just seized? It simply doesn't add up. A more scientific explanation revolves around that very cargo, the barrels of alcohol. One compelling theory suggests that some of the barrels may have leaked, creating a buildup of flammable vapor in the hold. The crew, fearing an imminent and massive explosion, might have panicked. The captain could have ordered everyone into the lifeboat as a precaution, perhaps intending to return to the ship once the danger had passed. They might have tied the lifeboat to the Mary Celeste with a long rope. If a sudden storm blew up or the rope snapped, they would have been left adrift and helpless, their ship sailing away from them. This alcohol vapor theory is plausible. When the cargo was eventually unloaded in Genoa, 9 of the barrels were found to be empty. These were made of a more porous type of oak, making them more likely to leak. Then there are the more far-fetched, supernatural theories. Stories of sea monsters, ghost ships, and even alien abduction have been spun around the Mary Celeste. Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes, even wrote a popular short story that, while fictional, cemented the Mary Celeste in the public imagination as a paranormal event. While these tales are entertaining, they lack any shred of evidence and belong more to the realm of folklore than history. Let's look at a few more grounded possibilities. One theory suggests a seaquake, an underwater earthquake that can create unusual waves and a rumbling sound. This could have panicked the crew into thinking the ship was breaking up, causing them to abandon it hastily. Another idea involves a waterspout, a tornado-like column of water that could have appeared threatening, or even damaged the ship in a way that wasn't immediately obvious to the boarding party. One interesting clue is the ship's pump. One of the 2 pumps on board had been disassembled, as if for repair. It's possible the crew believed the ship was taking on water much faster than it actually was, due to a faulty pump sounding. Fearing the ship was sinking, Captain Briggs may have made the fateful call to abandon ship. In their haste, they left everything behind, believing they had only minutes to escape. So what really happened to Captain Briggs, his family, and his crew? We will almost certainly never know for sure. They were never seen or heard from again. Their lifeboat was never found. All we have is the silent, empty vessel they left behind, a ship that has become a symbol of the unexplained. The Mary Celeste is more than just a ghost ship. It's a profound human story. A story of a family and a crew who went to sea and simply vanished from the world, leaving behind a puzzle that continues to captivate and haunt us. The sea holds many secrets, and the fate of the 10 souls aboard the Mary Celeste remains one of its deepest. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the heart of a maritime mystery. What do you think happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste? Let me know your theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next dive into the unknown. Until next time, stay curious.